My name is Luciana Berger, and I am the Labour and... I am the Member of Parliament for Liverpool Wavertree. This morning, we have all now resigned from the Labour Party. This has been a very difficult, painful, but necessary decision. We represent different parts of the country. We are of different backgrounds. We were born of different generations, but we all share the same values. From today, we will all sit in Parliament as a new independent group of MPs. But I have become embarrassed and ashamed to remain in the Labour Party. I have not changed. The core values of equality for all, opportunity for all, anti-racism against all, and social justice, the values which I hold really dear and which led me to join the Labour Party as a student almost 20 years ago, remain who I am. And yet these values have been consistently and constantly violated, undermined and attacked, as the Labour Party today refuses to put my constituents and our country before party interest.
My name is Chris Leslie. I'm the Member of Parliament for Nottingham East. This has not been an easy decision for any of us. We've all been Labour Members of Parliament for very many years, in my case more than 3 decades. But the Labour Party we joined, that we campaigned for and believed in, is no longer today's Labour Party. We did everything we could to save it, but it has now been hijacked by the machine politics of the hard left.
My name is Angela Smith. I am the MP for Penistone and Stocksbridge in South Yorkshire. In 1966, when many other 5-year-olds rooted for England in the World Cup, I had my first experience of political identity when my mother told me there was a different competition going on and that we supported a man called Harold Wilson. My family believed that Labour represented their interests and their values at Westminster. Underpinning that belief was a sense that Labour would help those who faced discrimination and barriers when it came to bringing out the best in themselves.
Angela, my name is Gavin Shuker and I'm, since 2010, been the Member of Parliament for Luton South. This is my first and only job in politics. Representing my hometown is a great honour, and I stepped up to do it because for me, serving your community in that way is public service. We're leaving the Labour Party, not only because of what it's become, but because, like millions of others, we find that our values no longer find expression in today's broken politics. We believe ours is a great country. Perhaps more importantly, so do the vast majority of the British people.
I'm Anne Coffey, the Member of Parliament for Stockport, a town I've represented for nearly 27 years. It is a great privilege to be an MP. My father died a year before I was elected. He would have been proud to see the chance for a better life he had fought to give me realised in an achievement beyond his dreams. He believed passionately in education. But without the Wilson's government's commitment to providing alternative routes to higher education through expanding places in polytechnics, I would not have got a degree.
I'm Mike Gapes, the Member of Parliament for Ilford South. I've always considered myself Labour to my core. I grew up in a working class family in a council house in Chigwell, Essex. My dad was a postman and trade union branch secretary. My mum worked in a newsagent shop. My parents, my education at Buckhurst County High School, a year I spent as a voluntary service overseas teacher in Swaziland before I went to Cambridge University, all taught me the importance of fighting racism, poverty and injustice.
Mike. I'm Chukwuemeka. I'm the Member of Parliament for Streatham, the area I'm from and grew up in. As you've heard from all of the contributions, the values which have driven our decision today are shaped by who we are, where we are from, our experiences. Now, the last few years have shown the established parties are simply not up to this challenge. They can't be the change because they have become the problem. They have failed to provide the leadership and clear direction which the UK desperately needs. They are deeply divided. They have failed to fulfil their duties with the competence the public rightly deserves. They've put their party political interest before the national interest, and they don't represent the complex tapestry which is modern Britain.
That a white working class woman finds life hard enough. A BME, working class woman, and this is the gender aspect, will find it even harder. But it's not just about colour. I mean, you know, the recent history of the party I've just left suggests that it's not just about being black or a funny, you know, different from the BME community, but the Jewish community equally, the Jewish community equally.
It's having a funny tinge.
No, and I obviously, look, I never meant to say that. I misspoke really badly. I was very, very tired at that point. I'd had 6 hours of press engagement, and I was very tired. And I was very tired. I misspoke really, really badly, and that's not who I am.
I just finally, after much heart searching and reflection, reached the point yesterday, following what happened on Monday and the things Luciana Berger said, that I do not believe that Jeremy Corbyn is fit to lead the Labour Party, and therefore I don't believe he's fit to be Prime Minister. And I can no longer, in all good faith and conscience, tell people that they should be fighting for a Labour government under Jeremy Corbyn.
Is he an anti-Semite?
Nick, I don't know what's in his heart, but I don't think he could be at all surprised that people think he is. And we have said endlessly to him, actions speak louder than words.
The first Labour lawmakers handed in their resignations, saying their party had been hijacked by the machine politics of the hard left. The splintering in Britain's main opposition party comes amid frustration with its leader Jeremy Corbyn and his handling of Brexit, as well as allegations of anti-Semitism within the ranks. One Parliament member said she had become embarrassed and ashamed of the Labour Party.
I am leaving behind a culture of bullying, bigotry and intimidation. I look forward to a future serving with colleagues who respect each other and who are committed to working together for our great country.
They will continue to sit in Parliament under the banner of the Independent Group, and they've already attracted new members. A number of Conservative MPs have also jumped ship to join their former rivals.
You win in politics when you're with a team, and in that team with shared values and principles. And I believe mine are no longer welcome in the Conservative Party. I'm not leaving the Conservative Party. It's left us.
Well, it doesn't change Brexit. That's the odd thing, because all of these people, I think, will continue to vote as they had been voting before. They were already pretty much semi-detached members of their parties, and they were already pretty much voting against Brexit on it at every opportunity. So from the point of view of Brexit maths, I don't think it does matter. From the point of view of party management, I think it certainly does matter. From the point of view of what's going on in Parliament and how Parliament looks, it's really important.
And we are proud to say to you today, we are the party of the people's vote. We are absolutely as one in our belief that Brexit, the biggest, the most important issue that our country has faced since the Second World War, must now go back to the people for their final say. And we're also clear. We say to Theresa May, the only way out of the Brexit crisis is to take your so-called deal and put it to the people. They are entitled. They have a right to that final say on Brexit, especially our young people, those people unable to vote 3 years ago, those very people who will bear the biggest brunt of Brexit. Because as you all also know, whichever way you cut it, however you do it, Brexit will reduce the future prosperity of everybody in this country and for generations to come. And that's why there is this growing majority in our country who now believe that we should remain in the EU. And let's be absolutely clear about this. If, as we believe, the majority of people in the United Kingdom do not want us to leave the European Union, and we do leave, without that second referendum, it'll be the biggest and most dangerous denial of democracy ever, the greatest dereliction of duty by any government in our country's history, and we mustn't let that happen.
Here today with a very simple message. If you're fed up with our broken politics, join us, get involved, and let's change it together. The Conservatives have drifted yet farther to the right, now so anti-Europe and anti-business that Conservative voters can barely recognise their party anymore. And Labour have continued to let the country down, offering ineffective opposition to a government at the time when the country needs it most, lacking leadership on Brexit and still failing to tackle anti-Semitism. But with Parliament in deadlock and European elections scheduled for the 23rd of May, we're here to say we stand ready. Because these elections are a chance to send the clearest possible message. We demand a people's vote and the right to remain and campaign to remain in the European Union.
Disagree with you about that, and that's why tomorrow, certainly the group that I'm now a member of will be putting down our own amendment, absolutely to drive forward a process. And I know others agree with it. I'm not saying it'll get selected and voted on. There are others who have taken the same view, that we must do everything we can, one, to avoid no deal, and secondly, to make proper progress. So we need votes in Parliament to see where there is a consensus. From my point of view, whatever we come up with, I want it then to go to the people for them to determine the future.
But you see, I mean, this is part of the problem, isn't it? Because you want another vote, another referendum.
But I want to...
And the best way to get it is to break this process, isn't it?
The thing I'm actually more concerned about at the moment is making sure that we get no deal absolutely off the table. And it is to the eternal shame of this government they've not done that, especially when the House actually voted in favour of us removing no deal as an option.
You know, you say they're crying out for certainty and leadership, but the one thing that we know for sure another vote would do is prolong the uncertainty.
What would? A people's vote?
Yeah.
Not at all. I mean, if you had a people's vote, you would... No, because you would know that that's where you were moving to. And I think it's quite interesting that yesterday Jeremy Hunt conceded...
But if we leave in 18 days' time, we'll know where we are as well. And that'll be a lot quicker than having another vote.
Yes, but that would be a catastrophe for our country. And in the words of the Brexit... Sorry, in the business secretary, it would be ruinous for our country.
Change UK. Polling around 3%. Your lead candidate in Scotland's defected to the Lib Dems. What's going wrong?
Well, look, we were formed 5 weeks ago, if that, actually. I actually think we're doing remarkably well. We are up against these big Goliaths. And I think my big takeaway from it all is when I go to the rallies and actually just out and about, I genuinely believe there is a real thirst in our country. Millions of people believe nobody represents them. They want that sensible, centrist, moderate, but progressive politics, accepting that all the political parties are responsible for the breaking of politics. And I genuinely believe we offer the change that the people of this country are desperate to achieve.
So why isn't it cutting through? I mean, you say...
Well, I know,
you've got the polls here, and you say that you only set up a few weeks ago, but I mean, look, the Brexit Party are on 34%. They're a new party as well.
Well, no, sorry, I'm so sorry. The Brexit Party is just another extension of the Nigel Farage ego party that's been in one way or the other, one guise or another, for the last 20-odd years.
1% which on a 38% turnout is about 13% of the electorate. So let's not get too carried away.
But as far as the electorate,
there's no majority for a no-deal Brexit. That's one thing we know there isn't.
But can we take from this that the people have spoken yet again, and yet again it's the people who've given clarity, which Parliament has been signally unable to deliver? Are we
People
now
have been giving clarity, though.
Well, are we now going to see a complete divide that we are going to have, probably after the leadership campaign in the Tory party, we will see the Tories definitely going for a no-deal Brexit, and we will see Labour definitely going for a second referendum?
Britain's newest political party, Change UK, is going through another identity crisis. Of the 11 Labour and Tory MPs who quit their parties to form the independent group and then Change UK, about half of them have decided to chuck. Gary Gibbon is with me to explain what's happened.
Well, this was a party obviously partly formed in order to remain in the EU, but also to escape, as it was sold to us, the split-strewn brutality of the two main parties, and come up with something of sort of kinder, gentler centrism. Well, it didn't feel like that today. Here's a picture of them in happier times, the 11 MPs. You can see them here now, and you can see how they've now been reduced to 5, but all of 11 of them went into a room today to basically have it out. This row had been bubbling up for a while, and what they were arguing about was who had actually harmed their chances in the European Parliament elections. They only got 3%, and they produced an internal party report that blamed it on some of the MPs who'd been talking down the party's hopes during that actual campaign, and they felt it contributed by talking about whether certain MEP candidates should stand down in certain places, all the rest of it. They'd contributed to the pretty dismal rating that the party managed to have. Now, 6 of them are going off to form an independent group again, to be independent.
Including the leader.
The leader that was, that's right. And there's great speculation amongst those people who are staying in Change UK. Well, have they done some kind of cosy deal with the Libs? The Lib Dems, by the way, were being talked of by people who kicked off this whole party as something that they would gobble up quite soon. Now they're wondering whether it will gobble up those people who've gone back to independent status. But the independent MPs themselves are talking about something slightly different. They think by moving to this status, they have a better chance, perhaps, of levering out other defectors from the two main parties in the future. So let's say there's a Tory leader that some Tories don't like, or Labour's splits get even more acrimonious during the summer. Maybe some people would find it easier to defect to a group of independents rather than a formed party which they are late to join and which they might feel has already sort of shaped itself without them. But whatever happens, a party that has managed to split within 4 months of being formed has found itself a place in the British political history books, probably for all the wrong reasons.
No ifs and buts. We believe in Remain. We are the party of the Remain.
Extremely productive meeting with the Electoral Commission. We came...
I urge all those great Labour women to do what all these great Labour women have done, and they've come and joined Change UK.
Yes, I am Lib Dem now forever.
Is there going to be an issue of trust for you, though, Chuka? Because when you're a politician, things go on record.
Yes.
You have criticised the Lib Dems.
I have, yes.
You know, and you've criticised them and said, obviously, to promote that Labour being better. You've criticised Labour when you had to Change UK. You didn't join the Lib Dems before the latest round of European elections when you could have done,
yes,
and had a very strong Remain vote and been campaigning for that. So it's going to be hard for people to trust you, isn't it?
Well, that's an absolutely fair question. But I think people like politicians who stick to their values and principles and put those things first before any tribal party political interest. And clearly that is what I've done. And the biggest issue in my constituency is Brexit. It's the most Remain constituency in the country. It scored the highest Remain vote in the 2016 referendum. And my constituents know that part of what drove me out of the Labour Party, in addition to the other terrible things happening within it, was the fact that it was sponsoring Brexit. And that was very much against the views of my constituency.
So you're
A former Conservative MP, Anna Soubry, who is now an independent.
I, the undersigned, being the acting returning officer at the election held on Thursday, the 12th of December 2019, do hereby give notice that the number of votes cast for each candidate at the election is as follows. Bishop David Lawrence, Militant Elvis Anti-HS2, 172. Bertger Katerina, known as Kat Bertger, Green Party, 1,806. Dallamura Amy Beth, English Democrats, Putting England First, 432. Henry Darren George, the Conservative Party candidate, 26,602. Kong Tek Kyong, Independent, 321. Marshall Gregory, known as Greg Marshall, Labour Party, 21,271. Subri Anna Mary, the Independent Group for Change, 4,668. The number of ballot papers rejected was as follows: none for want of official mark, 11 voting for more candidates than the voter was entitled to.
So Anna Soubry roundly defeated there, just over 4,000 votes compared to 26,000 for the Conservative. So Brock Stow